So in part 4, we will learn how to create functions where we can pass information. And why do we need to do that? Well, remember scope. When you create variables within a function, so here's my main function right here. This is the entire main function. Any variables I create in this function have local scope to this function, meaning that when I call show menu or get option or any of the other functions, they do not know about these two variables. Okay, they're kind of hidden in a box. So we have our show menu function, and when I'm in this function, I don't have access to any of the variables in any other function. In the get option function, I'm creating a local variable option, and then I'll return it. This option is local to this function. It is not the same option as is declared in main. But when we call get option, it returns a number and we'll store it into main's version of option. So two separate variables called option. One has scope in main and then one has scope in get option. So let's start by thinking about the next function that we will need to write, and that's the print balance function. And the print balance function, what kind of function is it? Is it a value returning or is it a void function? If you said void, you're correct, because you can tell that this function does not return any information, because if it did, I would need to do something with it. I would probably have to store it in a different variable, right? So let's kind of go over the different kind of functions that we've created so far. So show menu was a void function, right? We just call it, it executes, and then we return back to where it was called from. Get option is a value returning function. When we call it, it gets the option and then returns the option. Okay, it returns information to us. So the print balance is a void function. We're not going to be storing any returned value, so we know it's not going to return anything to us. But look what's different. We are going to be passing information, because print balance is going to format and print the balance of the bank account, and balance is stored in the main function. And so we want print balance to be able to look at that and then print whatever is stored into balance. So let's go look at our sample run again. When I choose option 1, the balance, it's going to print out the word balance, a colon, a $sign, and it's going to print the balance to 2 decimal places. So in my planning document, let's go down and we will do the print balance function. Okay, so I'm going to be passing print balance the balance. So the first step is to print the balance and format 2 decimal places. And then return. That's all it's going to do. Just going to print the balance and then return. So going back to my main, I can go down here and I'm going to delete this little message and delete the return, because this won't return anything. And so I'm just going to print the parameter called bal. So there's a relationship between the argument I'm passing, balance, and what's happening is it's going to take a copy of what's in balance, so their current account balance, and it's going to store it into this parameter variable called bal. Okay, so I'm going to just print balance and a colon and a $sign, and then I want to format bal to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to say format, and then the variable is bal, and I want to do 0.2f. That means just print 2 decimal places. Okay, and then it'll return, and I don't have to say return, right, because it automatically adds a return. So let's test it out. So if I do a 1, and it printed the balance to 2 decimal places. So the only thing I'm not super happy about is I think I want that on a separate line. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that on a separate line like that. Okay. And that's the function print balance. This is a void function. It does not return information, but it accepts information. We need this function to be able to look at the variable balance in main, right? So we're going to pass it as an argument, and it's that value will be stored in this variable called bal. And then we'll reference bal while we're in this function because bal is a local variable to print balance, and then it'll return.